Hello, I'm Lara Kochesan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. We start in the Middle East, where the conflict between Iran and Israel continues to escalate. By Wednesday, US President Donald Trump appeared to be considering to back its biggest ally in the region with America's military might. Media outlets were reporting the US was moving around ground assets to give Trump options. And US Navy warships are heading to the Middle East. But while Washington considers its next move, a war of words is erupting on social media. The US's commander-in-chief has demanded an unconditional surrender from Iran. In a flurry of messages on Truth Social, Trump said patience is wearing thin and warned Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei that he is an easy target. Khamenei hit back in a series of messages across several accounts and languages on X, saying the battle begins and warned Iran will show no mercy. As the two nations exchanged strikes, missiles flew across the skies above Israel, including Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem. In Tehran, smoke could be seen rising from a missile facility. Donald Trump has joined Israel in telling Iranians to evacuate Tehran. But many attempting to leave don't have a car, and many that do have no fuel. The roads heading out of the city are at a virtual standstill. Many are worried that they could be targeted while on the road.
Tehran is home to more than 16 million people. Yet, according to Donald Trump, everyone should evacuate immediately. There is no way that 16 million people at 2:30 a.m. are going to be able to evacuate. Mimi Lulu says her family has been on the road for 10 hours now, and this is what it looked like earlier. It's a complete jam as people are trying to get out. And there are incoming reports of multiple explosions in the oil-rich province in the southwest of Iran.
As Iranian ballistic missiles continue to strike targets across Tel Aviv, it's apparent not everyone who lives in the Promised Land enjoys the protection of the famed Iron Dome missile interceptor. Reports have emerged of Palestinian-Israeli towns that are neither shielded from incoming fire nor fitted with bunkers or public shelters, which are common fixtures across Israel. Social media users are also circulating a video of Thai workers being stopped from seeking safety in bunkers.
You've all seen the footage of Israelis running toward their shelters, their underground shelters. But, as is obvious, Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank don't have access to underground shelters. But it's not just them. Palestinian citizens of Israel do not have underground shelters. Yesterday, one of the missiles from Iran fell on the Palestinian town of Tamra, and unfortunately, it killed 4 members of the Khatib family.
One thing that's not talked about enough is the neglected Palestinian neighborhoods in Is Not Real. So these are Palestinians that have Israeli citizenship, and their neighborhoods are very neglected. They have a lack of bomb shelters, non-functioning Iron Dome, and they always have it where if the Iron Dome is functioning, they have it where the debris is falling on the Palestinian neighborhoods to protect the Jewish ones. And then Israel uses those deaths as propaganda to make the Palestinian residents with Israeli citizenship turn on Iran and use it as a moment to push further propaganda to try to get their Palestinian Israeli citizens to stand with them.
While the world's eyes are all on Tel Aviv and Tehran, Israel killed at least 50 Palestinians and wounded almost 200. As they were waiting for aid distribution trucks to enter Gaza on Tuesday. This is the latest deadly incident where desperate Palestinians have been killed while trying to receive food assistance. The UN's Human Rights Chief, Volker Turk, has accused Israel of weaponizing food and called for an investigation into the shootings. As the world waits to see how Trump will react, the online space thinks it has the answers. There's a lot of chatter about the meals the US armed forces are being served. Now, it's unclear if it's a special treat after Saturday's parade or whether it's a sign of where the US is leaning in the conflict in the Middle East.
They're now feeding the army steak and lobster. We're cooked. And I know most of y'all thinking, what's wrong with this? This looks like a luxurious meal with cow back and layered the lobster. Until you look up what steak and lobster means in the army. Symbolizing a special accusation of morale boost or potential final meal before a difficult or dangerous mission. The timing that the steak and lobster is being delivered to the soldiers while the world is on the brink of World War III. Find that mighty interesting. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that wasn't the last meal before deployment, and they was just appreciating the soldiers for serving the country.
And that's not the only food. Another theory is doing the rounds on social media, and it's got everything to do with pizza. Some users suggest that pizza consumption by Pentagon staff may be an early indicator of major global crises.
See, there's this idea called the Pentagon Pizza Index. It's the idea that the busier the pizza joints are around the Pentagon, the more likely something major is going to go down. Basically, if there's a brewing conflict, Pentagon staffers will be so busy, they can't leave their desks and they're working so late, they're just gonna order a ton of pizza. And right now, multiple X accounts that are tracking this theory are banging the alarms that World War III is maybe around the corner. Nearly all the pizza spots around the Pentagon had a spike in activity. And later that evening, around 8:48 p.m., Israel attacked Iran. Coincidence? And after the attack, the pizza index just surged again. This theory is by no means scientific. Popular lore says it dates back to the Cold War, when Soviet intelligence would monitor pizza joints in DC to predict when the US might do something next. But that's not really proven. However, in the late 80s and early 90s, pizza sales spiked during notable moments, a metric they called the pizza meter. Apparently, pizza deliveries to the Pentagon doubled before the Panama invasion, surged before the Grenada invasion, and spiked during Iraq's surprise invasion of Kuwait. One DC pizzeria owner, Frank Meeks, said that he could predict when military action would happen just based on pizza sales. And reportedly, CNN's Wolf Blitzer, who used to cover the Pentagon, even said, bottom line for journalists, always monitor the pizzas.
War is deadly, traumatic, and for those watching from afar, can be deeply distressing. But in the chaos, memes emerge, not to make light of the suffering, but to act as a way of coping. In a world where conflict is streamed live, humor becomes a strange defense mechanism, especially during these turbulent times.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Why we don't work? Why everybody in Iraq bad? Why? Why?
I'm not sure I'm interested in that. No, I am sure. I am not interested in that.
If you're worried about scams this year, the biggest threat may already be in your phone. From fake toll fines to job offers that lead to nowhere, 2025 is shaping up to be the year of text-based scams.
Scams involving toll services have been seemingly the most prevalent in 2025. Scammers are sending fake messages claiming you owe money for tolls. They create panic by threatening to suspend your license and include a link to pay. But real toll agencies won't send you a bill by text, and they won't threaten you. Another major trend is the use of phony job offers, particularly those that use or mimic the name of the job site Indeed. Scammers text you claiming you've been hired, then push you to chat on WhatsApp or Telegram. The goal is to get you to click a malicious link or share personal info. This is an old school scam with a new tech twist. AI is helping scammers carry on convincing conversations, starting with a simple, oops, wrong number. They slowly build trust before finding a way to steal from you. Scammers use fake relationships to get close. They fatten up victims with affection, then take everything in crypto schemes.
It's called pig butchering, and it's a brutally effective crypto romance scam that involves crime syndicates, modern-day slavery, and victims around the world.
The whole thing starts with a simple message from a seemingly friendly stranger, but it often ends with emotional and financial ruin.
Pig butchering is a new type of scam that involves cryptocurrency and uses this rather colorful metaphor, pigs and butchering. So in this case, pigs means a victim, a person who is tricked into being sort of fattened up. you're enticed to spending more and more and more and more money. You're getting fattened up. And then at some point, you're butchered or slaughtered, which means, sort of, to mix metaphors a little bit, the rug is pulled out from under you.
We all struggle with tech at times. It can feel so frustrating when something you need to work just won't. Scammers are preying on that fact. So they are pretending to be from tech or security companies. They scare victims, often older adults, with aggressive pop-ups claiming to be security alerts from companies like Microsoft, Apple, or Geek Squad. Then they offer fake help in exchange for real money. In 2025, scams are smarter, more personal, and more likely to come through a text. So stay alert, don't click, don't reply, and don't fall for it.
Forget about Labubus. Chinese Gen Z has a new collectible crush. They're swapping monster charms for colorful corn. These vibrant keychains aren't just cute. In Chinese culture, corn symbolizes a life full of smooth, blessed moments, kernel by kernel.
Collectible coins are going viral in China. Just like elders who like to play with glossy walnuts in their palms, Gen Zs are now obsessed with playing collectible coins, nicknamed digital ibuprofen. These are specially bred coins, which boast grains as translucent as amber, with patterns resembling fossilized resin. Peeling back the husk feels like opening a blind box. Each ear holds a unique surprise. Corn yumi, also known as bao mi in Chinese, carries auspicious meanings. Bao ni fa cai, guaranteed to get rich, and bao ni jiankang, guaranteed to be healthy. A mature ear of corn bears many tassels, which is called sui in Chinese. Sui sui sounds the same as sui sui ping an, which means safe and peace year after year. Collectible corn symbolizes abundance and prosperity, and carrying it signifies reaping rewards in both career and life. Another son is curious, can you actually eat this thing? Someone replied, tastes like rock. Another said, girl, that corn's got more fingerprints than a crime scene. Another son is surprised, how come this thing doesn't rot? Someone replied, it's a special variety of steamed corn that's been air dried. Collectors would add color matching chains and turn their coins into a bag charm. A blogger said, forgot to open my package of collectible corn. Came back from a business trip to find moth, having a rave in there. Too pretty to just toss away. Might as well popcorn these bad boys. Another son in the US said, I found some super rare mini ones at the supermarket right next to the Halloween pumpkins. I bought 3 for just $2.50. A Chinese citizen cried, that's a steal. Corn of this quality easily go for $15 each in China.
It was a classic bull in a china shop moment, and probably every museum's nightmare. A tourist couple was visiting a museum in Verona in Italy when the man went to pose as if sitting down on a crystal-covered artwork chair. But he lost his balance and fell on it. It broke and he quickly fled the scene. The broken art piece was inspired by one of Vincent van Gogh's most famous paintings. Despite the couple's reckless behavior, artist Nicola Bolla pointed out a positive aspect of the incident. Bolla likened it to a form of performance art, suggesting that ordinary people can engage in such expressions too, not just artists.
This is very commonly referred to as Van Gogh's chair, but it's not Van Gogh's chair. This is Van Gogh's chair. Inspired Nicola Bolla to make this chair. They ignored all of the signs everywhere that said, don't touch this thing, don't sit on this thing, don't do anything to this thing. And at this point, nobody knows who they are. They have disappeared. So if you know who they are, please call the authorities. You can let them know that the chair has been repaired so that it is on display again. It's never going to be perfect again. It's completely ruined. And it is considered priceless, as there is no price that was put on it.
But the point of the matter is, if this chair had some value or so much value or shouldn't have been sat in, you wouldn't even put a rope around it, not even a stanchion? Almost seems like a joke.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.